Hi, everybody. Brian Walker, founder of Retail Doctor Group. And here's one of my favorite things to do, the podcast series on the future of retail. I'm excited for two reasons. A, I get to do it again, and B, I get to do it with my friend, futurist, AI veteran, Craig Rispin. Welcome, Craig.
Thanks so much, Brian.
We last spoke together in 2022. And now you're an AI veteran. So, Craig, what's it all about?
Well, you can't be a veteran just from 2022. November of 22 was the launch of Chat GPT. And so everybody thinks that AI started then. But my experience with AI goes back to 1986, Brian, when
Yes.
this incredibly bubbly young marketing executive, Mimi, comes bouncing into the meeting room and says, "Oh, I'm so excited to work with Apple Computer. We're going to do great things together." And I was tasked with going out and working with these third-party developers to demonstrate new technologies that were compatible with the early Macintosh. And Mimi says, "Craig, I've got to tell you something you probably don't know. I'm engaged. I'm engaged. I'm engaged to Tom Cruise." I'm like, how is that relevant to what we're doing? Well, congratulations, though. I was a bit awkward at 19. Congratulations, though. But what has Tom Cruise got to do with this voice recognition system you have? And she said, "Oh, didn't you know? Tom owns half the company." Well, come full circle, Brian. When Microsoft invested their $11 billion in OpenAI, the next company they invested in was Nuance, the creators of Dragon Naturally Speaking. That's what I was demoing all those years back when it only had a library, or we called it a dictionary, of the Oxford Dictionary and 1,000 words. That was the biggest dictionary that we had. Oxford plus 1,000 legal words and 1,000 medical words. And today, a thing popped back called Fable from a company called Anthropic. A lot of people know about this because it was taken off the market by the US government for a short period of time because they thought it was really dangerous. And in this large language model called Fable, they're thinking that it's like this dictionary, as we called it in the beginning, but that, 60,000 plus 1,000 words. Compare that to, get this, Brian, 5 billion words, or we call them tokens in AI. 5 billion, which is not just every dictionary in every language, but every iteration of every word. It's, in every order. So that's why it's just huge. To give you an idea how fast things are changing, when it comes to technology, and especially technology when it comes to retail, for before AI, it was defined by Moore's law that defined that the price performance would double every 2 years. Right now, today, Brian, AI's price performance, if you compare it to Moore's law was doubling every 2 years. How about this? The price performance of AI is 150x per year. Not doubling every 2 years, 150x per year. So, what does this mean? If you aren't keeping up every single month with AI, you're being left behind, Brian.
So, Craig, I'm reminded as we start this podcast of 2022. And I'm reminded you then, you really grew up in a family of futurists, as I recall. You are a
Yes.
seasoned futurist. That lovely story you tell about your father and so forth. But this remarkable journey of speed, technology change you just outlined, where does it get us? If we fast forward to 2035, let's talk a little bit about this. Because
Okay.
people are saying, okay, from a retail point of view, it's all about the integrated experience. It's all about the store network that's integrated. It's all about the technology as the enabler, all this wonderful stuff. If you're a bad retailer, at least if you live in yesterday's timing, you're not going to survive. It's goodbye.
Yeah. And that's what we're seeing right now. You can see it all over the world, not just here in Australia, New Zealand, Southeast Asia, all around the world. There have been more store closings in the last 24 months than ever before, Brian. We're just seeing these brands just disappear that have been around for a long time. And it's accelerating because we're moving in this area where things are changing faster than ever. It's just that people don't know it. They think, oh, this AI thing, it's moving pretty fast. They have no idea that it's changing monthly. And so that means that AI is not killing off physical retail in any way. It's just changing so rapidly that it means that bad retailers are just dying much faster than before. We're seeing it
Now,
left, right, and center, aren't we, Brian?
yes. And we know, Craig, that through the work we've done in Limbic and all the research work through RDG Insights, that we are instinctively social.
Yes, we are.
So, right. So we want to be in places where people are, experiences are. Now, what's interesting about this closure rate you touch on is the other aspect that says, interestingly, we're seeing more new startups in retail, or at least the broadening of retail, tech startups and the like. So what we're seeing, I think, to your point, is this rapid transformation of retail.
Yes, and this is current research that I scraped off the internet. And in America, we're big. And yes, here in Australia, I've called my home for 40 years. We measure a little bit different. You know, we measure square foot
Yeah,
in
rather than square
America of
meter. Yeah.
sales. Yeah. And you see Apple. Now, Apple is the real experience company. When you think what they have done was Steve Jobs was inspired by his favorite hotel and the Four Seasons Hotel. And he wanted to create an experience. And also, they were spending a lot of money on trade shows. And he said, I want to create an incredible hospitality experience where it was like we had a network of stores, and they weren't like real stores. They were like a trade show. And if you think about how they train their staff, when you go into an Apple store, they're all talking about lifestyle. How do you intend to use this? What are you into? What kind of job do you do? That sort of thing. And what most people don't know, if you haven't been behind the scenes, and Apple will take you on a tour if you ask them to, you can take your group, is they take you back of house and they have a store management system that's tracking everybody as they're moving around the store. When they hesitate or dwell on a particular area, they have these little things. People will probably remember these. They're called eye beacons. And these eye beacons can tell when you dwell, your particular mobile phone is there. And what they're watching for is before they send somebody out, they have this ratio of staff to people they know is right, and they're sitting there waiting to go. And just before they go out onto the shop floor, there's a sign up, Brian, and I've never seen it in any other retailer. You know what the sign says? It says, serve without expectation. Wow.
You know, it is wow, but two things come to mind. One is I think Sam Walton would have had his version of that without the
Yeah.
technology. Yeah. But the other side is interesting. So here we are with Hungry Jacks in the US. They've got headphones now with some AI enabled device that says to the staff member via the earphone, hey, Brian, smile a bit more. Hey, Brian, don't forget to do this. Hey, Brian. And so prompting. Now, there's a little example of technology integrating into the physical retail.
Yes.
But
And
Craig, and yes, there'll be consolidation and growth and it's transforming. I think we all accept that.
hmm,
What does as technology becomes smarter and smarter, remember the metaverse? Remember the bit, Craig, with the imagining or pressing on a button on your remote and up would pop the Nike shoe shop? Remember all that
Yes.
stuff? Right.
Yeah.
Is that re-emerging? Is that going to be one of the platforms? In other
Look,
words, can I bring the shop into my home in future is probably where that question is.
yes. Is the shop going to be in your home? Look, there's everything that was serving the customer in the way that they could have a unique experience that that adds value to their life, makes it easier to shop, or gets delivered quicker to them. Anything like that is still there, Brian. But what we're seeing is this next step up. And this next step up in technology allows all this that we've seen to be integrated together. So let me give you an example of this. So we're seeing entire shopping malls now being turned into a Netflix experience. And when you compare their retail sales per square foot, it's better than Tiffany now and approaching Apple. And why is that? It's because people become really passionate about characters like Wednesday that they want to hang out with, and they dress up like Wednesday Adams and go to this experience where they can have augmented reality and play games. But when they exit into the gift store, that's where the price per square foot of sales is just exploding. And yes, you heard me right, Brian. They're not just taking over old shops, they're taking over entire shopping malls. Watch this. Virtual experience and then exiting to the store, the shop. All that technology, augmented reality, the eye beacons for management, the experience, the theater, the theming. And the thing that I have to say that I think this really is a trend that we need to focus on is the constant change. What does it mean, constant change? Each one of those rooms, Brian, are being refitted every 30 days. Not the entire experience, but each room that is no longer hot or cool or on trend is being refitted. So much so they were saying that their entire their display is completely remade every 90 days. Tell me another retailer that's doing that. They might say we are fast fashion and we're turning over our stock every 2 weeks. That's not this. This is an experience that people are lining up for, Brian.
And so, Craig, it's a wonderful experience, and it's a wonderful example of what I would say is adding this concept of theatre to the mix. So if the
Yes.
mix is, we use this lovely broad term about experience. Now, what I'm getting at is this. these are the early pioneering examples. These are the early adopters.
Yes.
They're creating the experience through theatre predominantly, and every bit of tech to support that. So they're becoming the modern day amusement park,
They are, really.
right?
Yeah.
I don't know that that's entirely replicable in scale. And therein
Uh,
lies the challenge. That
I
model
think
may be, but
so.
for competitors and so forth. Could you
I.
imagine walking into a mall
Mm-hmm.
where that Netflix example was replicated with Sanyo, Tiffany's, whatever else? Yeah. You would just have one enormous amusement park. What I'm interested in is ultimately the future of retail and theatre and entertainment on scale.
Mm. Can you do it? Yes, you can, because the acceleration of all sorts of technology, and I just don't mean AI, the being able to use AI that has 3D printers that can print entire rooms and displays, like that big hand that you saw was
Mm-hmm.
3D printed. We can now do things inside. We can literally print an entire shop in and insert it now at that kind of scale. So I work in the physical world as well as the digital world, and I'm telling you what we can now design, trial, test with customers, and build so much faster. But most organizations don't know this. They don't know that they can print new displays in overnight while everybody's sleeping. They just don't think that way, right?
But
They don't think that what that all this technology around us has made it 15 times faster to roll out a new display. And also, they don't think I need to get some people that do this all the time. So they focus on people that have a retail experience. What I what they don't focus on, and it's another market that I've been involved with for many years, is they don't focus on set designers and the entertainment industry. And Netflix does. And they have craftsmen that can do things overnight to theme a set that you would never do in retail, but they would in entertainment. And I think there needs to be some crossover between the entertainment and the retail industry when it comes to, especially to theming displays, stock displays,
agree. But
experience.
but
I
Craig,
think we need
yes,
people that have never worked in retail, but they know how to connect emotionally.
totally agree with you. Now, by the way, I remember writing articles 15 years ago on going to theatre to understand how great store displays are put together. So I accept that. But let me be provocative. Why would I even, where's robotics in all this? So you will say, okay, AI, for example, is all about, it's an enabler. It's all
Yes.
about upskilling our people. Okay.
I call it amplified intelligence, not artificial intelligence. So we can do things so much quicker now. It's just mind blowing. I have been involved with it for 40 years, and
Wow.
I'm surprised what we could do at scale now.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, every day I see something and I think, wow, we couldn't do that last week. I'll give you an example. I like to follow the money, Brian. And so Spielberg recently invested in a firm that has a $50 a month tool that could film you walking through a mall, and I could take that clip and choose a 3D robot, and it will replace you. That robot will
Correct.
replace you as the actor in that scene, and it's frickin'
Yeah.
$50 a month. And Spielberg said when he invested in this company, last time we did a film, it was the last Indiana film, and he said he spent $600 million on digital effects. He said, I'll never spend 600 million on digital effects ever again. It's $50. And you can now do on your phone or on the web things that used to cost $600 million. That's one example. I can give you many more. It's
But let
amplified
me,
intelligence.
it absolutely is. And so the question for the future is, how will the traditional retail model, with its reliance on online and offline, its reliance on people, its reliance on rudimentary technology,
Hmm.
navigate and eventually lead in this space relative to the environment? So, for example, I might, if I was provocative, say to you, you know what, Craig, these robotics are getting pretty good. Silicon looks like skin, all that stuff, and we are getting increasingly, incrementally accepting and adaptive. So, in other words, I have a conversation with a chatbot. I see an avatar. I look at AI in videos. I'm getting used to it. I'm getting, if you like, experienced in it. Soon I won't differentiate between the two. What does that mean for retail?
Oh, just think about that. So I see platforms now that are really disrupting the influencer videos. You can have a 3D animated AI influencer now, and the skin. You can see the pores.
Yeah,
You can see
yeah,
there. I mean, it's
yeah.
incredible. Everybody woke up in November of 2022 and went, "Oh, isn't this great? I got to learn prompting and I can type something and get some text and I can paste that into an email." No, what they're not getting is that this technology helps with everything. And first, we need to fix the friction that is in a lot of these stores, because even if you had an incredible experience like at that Netflix, if you can't deliver on that brand promise, which many in retail struggle with, there's no point in having the display. And really, when it comes to I've learned, having worked in retail for a little while, that the 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 training that is the most important thing. And we don't do a lot of training in retail, not like they do in especially in the tech world. So what I'm saying is we need to fix the problems that are already there. The friction is there. If you don't fix those problems, then it's just going to amplify when you upgrade to this new experience. And I've seen it over and over and over again. I see, Brian, I call it the Salesforce conundrum. So in the late 1990s, software as a service became online software like Salesforce. And Salesforce came out with his CRM and everybody upgraded to it, Brian, but nobody did any training. And what happened was that it's now the most hated software in the world. They track these things. It's the most hated software in the world. And you know what they just announced? They announced defeat. They announced defeat. They announced a headless version of Salesforce. What does that mean? It's Salesforce with zero interface. All you do is speak to your phone through Copilot or ChatGPT or Claude, your favorite agent, and you can say, I'm talking to Craig Rispin here. Is he in our VIP database? And if the AI connects to your Salesforce or whatever, your CRM says no, and you just pass your phone to Craig and you say, just speak your details into here and we'll put you on to our VIP list. You can do that today. How many shops are doing that today, Brian?
Negligible, Craig, negligible.
I know it's less than 1%. but the one percenters are the obvious ones that we need to emulate in our own way. So what I'm saying is, if you want to have the budget and the available thinking space to be innovative and future led, Brian, you've got to eliminate 50% of your email hours. This is what I'm seeing is people are still spending 2, 3, 4 hours at head office on email. And if they just know how to speak to their phone and ask the right question, email hours can drop by 50%. When I work with clients, they say, "Oh, great, we want to do this thing. We want to have a real time dashboard and want to do augmented reality." And I say to them, let's pay for this first. Do you know what your payroll is? Yep. Can you estimate what your weekly email hours are? Yep. Can you figure out if we were to reduce your email hours by 50%, what would be the return on investment? And you know what they say to me? "Oh, Craig, hundreds of thousands of dollars." I say, let's start there. And not only will we save hundreds of thousands of dollars every month in our payroll, we'll have the budget and the thinking space to upgrade our next experience. What I'm finding is that people are not doing the basics to be able to be the next Netflix experience, the next Apple experience, the next Tiffany experience. And people go, how can that be true, Craig? How can it be true that just helping with email will make a difference? Every time I do this, they go, holy cow, if I can do this in Outlook, imagine if it gives them the skills to see further. Brian, this is what I'm finding.
So,
Everybody's
Craig,
talking about AI, and what I'm saying to clients are, give me your biggest cost that technology is costing you, and let's get rid of that. And I call that friction. And it's
yeah.
friction stopping you from being great. That's what I say.
So, and I think you make that point beautifully. I want to go forward, if I may.
Mm-hmm.
We're now the 8th of July, 2035. Tell me about retail, customer experience. Will we have trips to the shops the way that we always have? Will we visit the mall? Will we take product in the car and drive it home? Will we use online ordering the way we do? Will social media become social commerce?
I don't know if social media is going to be social commerce. We're actually seeing the usage of social media in decline as AI takes up. And we're seeing this is a thing that happens all the time when there's a new step change. Things that are around in the past still exist, but they're not where the eyeballs are. And I can give you a perfect example. For many, 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 many years, the number one app downloaded when you get a new phone was Facebook. Do you know what the number one app today is when you get a new phone? It's
I'm
Claude.
interested to,
It's Claude.
yeah.
It's Anthropic. It's the number one app in the world, and it it's downloaded more than Google Maps. And so what I'm saying is, will social go away? No, it'll still be there, but we're going to have something else. And what is that something else? We can start seeing what we say in the futurist world, these weak signals, and Netflix is one of them, right? And we're seeing this integration between the entertainment and arts industry with retail. And that's a weak signal. When you start looking at these weak signals and paste them together, then we could trial something quickly for a low budget and see how it works. And if we can do that, then we can scale it, Brian, because there's this opportunity. So if you were to ask me what the future is going to look like, I'll point on one thing. The one thing that's going to be completely different, and there's many things, but we've only got time really for one, is logistics is going to be completely different. And people don't know about this. They don't think about this. So I'm involved with an industry that most people don't even know about called eVTOL. Brian, do you know what an eVTOL is?
Uh, sensor-driven toll system that we have today, I guess. But fast forward.
It is an electric, therefore completely no emissions of anything. So it's an electric vertical takeoff or landing, a flying car, in other words. And there's dozens and dozens of manufacturers. Uh, Toyota's involved in this industry. Samsung's involved in this industry. Bell Helicopter's involved in this industry. And CASA, our regulator, has a time frame that's leading up to 2031. Brian, funny you say that. By 2031, we're going to have thousands and thousands of eVTOLs doing package delivery. And what I really believe is you're going to go to this experience. They're going to have limited stock on site, just enough that you can touch and feel, check your sizes, and you're going to leave the shop, and before you get home, it's going to be delivered. This is already starting to happen. There have been more than 1 million package deliveries in America, and it's coming to Australia quickly. And I think this is going to change warehousing, stock management, what we have on the stock floor, to being demo experience centers and less stock on hand. You're not going to be carrying it home. It's going to be there waiting for you when you get home.
And Craig, before we conclude, will the metaverse be part of this future world?
Unfortunately, not. The even Zuckerberg admits that he maybe should have not renamed Facebook Meta. He went all in, spent $1 billion, and he wanted to charge. I don't know if you know this, Brian. Anyone that had a shop in the metaverse was going to pay Facebook, now Meta, 50% of all their sales in the digital world. Most people
Right.
didn't know that. And I don't know a single retailer in the
It's just not
world
there.
that,
It's
yeah, they
not
weren't
sustainable.
going to do that.
The technology still exists, doesn't it? So
It
it's
does.
possible once that landlord digital lessee relationship is sorted out, is
Yes.
it possible that I'm at home in years to come, deciding that I want to get myself a pair of Nike runners, probably be walkers by then for sure, and I will just literally conjure up via my modem my own little sports store, and I will virtually walk through it courtesy of my avatar, and it'll be delivered the same day, courtesy of the
Yeah.
avatar and freight and so
Yeah.
forth.
And
Possible?
that's one driver, but there are so many more, Brian, that we could talk about. But I wanted to share this graphic to help your audience understand that AI is not taking away, but it's amplifying the human experience. AI is really good at forecasting, stock planning, product matching, reporting, rostering, routine questions, always being able to answer that thing that they have to go back to the terminal and look up. They can just speak to their phone or their headset and they've got the answer, which frees up your people to do things to build trust and rapport, empathy, reassurance, creativity, especially relationship building, being innovative, solving problems. This is why I call it amplification. And I think the most important thing to do is fix the problems that are in retail so we can plan for the future. I have not been able in 40 years, Ryan, to help clients be more innovative or invest in the future without paying some bills first. They don't have the time and they don't have the money. And so what
And
I
Craig,
focus on is saving them money, saving them time so they can invest in the future.
and let me conclude on this one point because it's an excellent topic and an excellent chart, and it's valuable. One of the fastest growing, I'm told, usages of an AI platform are people using software or platforms such as I think it's called Maya, and it is your companion, your AI companion. It helps build trust, relationship, counseling, service, experience, empathy. It does all this stuff, right? And it's
Yes.
booming in the amount of time people are on it, particularly older people for all the societal reasons. And so your chart distinguishes between what AI does today very well and what it will continue to do. And then makes the assertion, of course, that, well, all those wonderful those physical attributes, emotion and so forth, are the domain of humans and they could never be replicated by
No,
AI.
they cannot because, Brian, and I've been talking about this for 40 years, as we become more high tech, as technology invades our lives, and it really does. I was working with a
Yes.
beauty brand, and we asked 20,000 women, what is the very first thing you touch when you wake up in the morning? And it's not their partner. It is not their partner.
Thanks for
The
sharing that.
number one thing they're reaching for is their mobile phone. We know
Yeah.
this, right?
Yeah.
Technology has invaded the bedroom. It's become this barrier between people. And as technology invades our lives, the demand for high touch experiences is exploding. Let me give you another example. The live events industry that I'm greatly involved in, ticket sales for live concerts are up 35,000%. I'm
Yes,
talking
but
about
Craig,
dollars. I'm talking about dollars,
Craig, one of the
right?
one of the hugest selling theatre acts across the world in the last 5 years plus has been a group of avatars, if I can call them that, that are
Yes.
replicated from the original band. And I think it's called Voyager, the concert series.
Yeah.
And it's the dear old octogenarians of ABBA in their prime, selling out. There is no human anywhere on that stage.
Yeah. So, Brian, I want to extend an invitation to your clients to have a free consultation on AI, pay some bills so they can come with us to Las Vegas to see the future. If you really want to see the future of entertainment, uh, uh, 3D printers, the biggest car show, the biggest boat show, the biggest food tech show in the world, and where Reed Hastings chose to launch, he pushed this great big red button and launched Netflix to another 130 countries, all powered by Amazon's AWS, by the way. He hit the button and 130 more countries went live. If you're going to launch a new product, and if you really want to see the future, there's one show in the world, unlike anything else, where they're showing you the future that might happen. And in fact, most of the products at the show, if they don't get enough orders, they won't even be produced. They're literally showing you prototypes that don't exist yet. This is the only show in the world that does this. And you know what it's called, Brian?
Tell us, Craig.
It's called the CES show. Used to be
Yes.
called the Consumer Electronics Show, and if you call it that, the executive director will slap you silly because it is no longer the Consumer Electronics Show. It is the biggest robotics, 3D printing, food tech, biggest electric car show. Every major electric car other than Tesla gets launched at this show. And I take a very small select group of business leaders to this show every year, and I've been going since the 1970s when I first, with a friend, went to the show to see this new thing called Laserdisc, and it is right before the week before the show that you normally go to, Brian, in
That's
Chicago.
right.
What's that one?
That's it's New York, National Retail
New York.
Federation.
Oh, that's right, New York. Yeah, yeah. So just watch this, a really quick clip.
And then, okay.
It's so hard to believe that we are wrapped on CES 2026.
Justine, we're really wrapping?
I can't believe it.
Okay, we spent every second possible that we could on the show floor, and I do think that we could have spent many, many more because there were just so many incredible things to see.
This year's show has been a spotlight for true innovation. Everywhere you look, exhibitors and attendees have been identifying worldwide problems, finding solutions, and I'm bringing ideas to life right here on the show floor.
CES 2026 did not hold back. There was a record number of CES Innovation Award submissions, thousands of exhibitors from around the world, and countless announcements, all packed in 2.5 million square feet of exhibit space.
Everyone brought the energy and spirit of innovation. Keynoters, exhibitors, and of course, the attendees. It has been such an incredible week getting to spend it with you, our audience, the attendees here, the exhibitors, and my amazing co-host, Brian.
My amazing co-host.
A couple of my friends are having a good time there. And Brian, I'm excited to be with you in Las Vegas in 2027 in January because it's going to be incredible. And I have to tell you, I've been taking CEOs and other business leaders to this show for many, many years, and they always say how it changes their mindset.
Yeah.
It's not about the robots. It's not about the cars. It's about opening your mind to new possibilities.
What a wonderful note to end today's session on, Craig. Delighted. You know what? I think we should book a third one because I'm going to continue to provoke and discuss with you, my friend, where retail will be in the future. You've already given us many great headlights. I think some of this content is amazing. Craig, thank you very much for joining us. And ladies and gentlemen, please follow Craig, have a look at the link, come to the CES show, and we're excited. Thanks, Craig.
You're very welcome, Brian. Look forward to seeing you in Vegas.
Look forward as well, my friend.